It influences your world more than you realize. Join me, Richard Roeper, on the next Starz Inside for Anime, Drawing a Revolution.
Hey folks, Avi the TV Geek here again. Film critic Richard Roeper has a special on the Starz Movie Network about how the Japanese art style of anime has influenced today's modern media. It's called Anime, Drawing a Revolution, and it can be seen several times during the month of January and February on the Starz Movie Channel. I spoke with Mr. Roeper about the special, the continuing writer's strike in Hollywood, and his thoughts on the Golden Globe nominations of 2008.
I thought they did a pretty good job this year, actually. And the one thing about the Golden Globes, because they have categories for musical and comedy and drama, they can kind of cover all their bets. So about 10 movies altogether, 12 movies got nominated. But I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, you're going to see a lot of the same names come Oscar time. Films like Atonement, performances like Angelina Jolie for A Mighty Heart, Jodie Foster for The Brave One, George Clooney for Michael Clayton, Johnny Depp for Sweeney Todd. You know, we're starting to see some of the contenders for the big awards emerge now.
Were there any surprises as far as who was nominated or who wasn't nominated?
You know, I don't think there were a lot of surprises. I mean, you know, there's always some great performances that don't make the cut, but in this case, again, because they have the two categories, you know, I'll tell you one that, you know, I'm not that big of a fan of this film, Atonement, which I believe had the most nominations. I just think it's the kind of film that gets a lot of award nominations because it's very serious and respectful, and I thought it was okay, but I don't think it's one of the best movies of the year. So I have to be honest, I hope it doesn't win too many Golden Globes because I don't want it to become an Oscar favorite.
Okay. Now, I know some of the movies that were nominated for Best Animation were the Simpsons movie and Ratatouille. You know, we've got this anime special coming up. Are you surprised that anime doesn't get the kind of recognition by Hollywood as maybe it should be?
Yeah, I am, and I'm disappointed because, as we, you know, detail in this special, Anime Drawing a Revolution, it's got such a huge influence on all different kinds of films. And, you know, Ratatouille is a terrific film. I think what's going on right now, too, Avi, is that people aren't quite sure where to put these movies. A movie like 300, is it an animated movie or is it a live-action movie? Same thing with Beowulf, which is out right now. There's sort of a combination going on here. A movie a couple of years ago called Sin City. There's that sort of hyper-realistic form that a lot of American audiences are just getting used to. We really dig it, but we don't know where to pigeonhole it. We're not sure what it is yet.
What was something that surprised you about this special and looking in the world of anime and its influence?
Well, what surprised me is how wide-reaching the influence is, and the special, I think, does a great job of distilling the differences between American animation, which we think of traditional animation like the Disney cartoons, and even the TV shows we grew up watching, whether it was, you know, Bullwinkle or the Flintstones, where it was very simplistic, sort of child-friendly animation. And then you look at anime and you realize that, you know, it was more sophisticated. We're talking 50, 60 years ago. They were doing it more like the graphic novels that a lot of teenagers and 20-somethings and even older moviegoers really like now. And you see that Japanese anime has influenced not just movies like 300, but even a TV series like The Simpsons. And there's a lot of anime influence there. And the special does a great job of explaining exactly the thread between the two.
You know, when I think of anime, I think of a loyal, hardcore audience, but I think of size-wise they're not that big. Is that a myth?
It is, and you know what? I thought the same thing, Avi. Honestly, before I got into it in the Starz special, I knew that there were a hardcore group of anime fans. Now I'm finding out that it's not really that small of a group, that there are conventions, that there are all kinds of clubs on websites, that even in high school, a friend of mine, his daughter's in an anime club here in the Chicago area where, you know, just on their own, there's so much into this art form. It's very cool.
What's your favorite anime movie that you've seen?
Oh boy, you know, I don't have one particular favorite. You know, in recent years, I thought Howl's Moving Castle was one of the more amazing films I've ever seen. But you know, like a lot of people, I'm still accumulating my library of anime films. And again, it's interesting because it's like, what exactly even fits that category? I mean, I think that's an ongoing debate right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you go here soon, but I do have one more question. I wanted to kind of ask how your view right now of this writer's strike that's going on in Hollywood and New York. Are you worried about how this may affect the motion picture industry?
I am worried, and I'm very disappointed because I understand it's a very important issue, but in the grand scheme of things, the billions of dollars that the movie industry makes worldwide, it's not that much money. They should be able to settle this, and the writers are the most important element of any film, and I just wish they would get their just due. And down the road, 6, 8, 10 months from now, we're all going to see the effects of this. We're already seeing it in TV. We're going to see it in the movie industry in less than a year.